Well, good afternoon, everyone. I can see that people will still be trickling in. It's very hard to decide. Do I want to go to the service dialogue or would I like a chair massage? So we're just going to roll with it and we're going to start, and people will catch up with us when they get here. For those of you who don't know, I'm Susan Danish, AJLI's Executive Director, and a proud member of the Junior League of Brooklyn. Woo. Thank you, Monique. And so this is the Service Dialogue. It's an opportunity for the AJLI staff, and today, our very esteemed panel of fabulous Junior League leaders from the Brand Advisory Task Force to share things that have been going on this past year as we work to fulfill your Junior League mission. The day has gone by, and somehow we have not yet acknowledged that it's Friday the 13th. A day that is viewed as unlucky in Canada, the United Kingdom, and the United States. Now, in Mexico and other Spanish-speaking countries, the bad luck day is Tuesday the 13th, Martes 13. And so for them, today is not an unlucky day. In some years, we only have one Friday the 13th, and in other years, we have as many as 3. This year, this is the only Friday the 13th. And so here we are. The British Medical Journal has written that in Friday the 13th, there is a significant increase in traffic-related accidents. Friday the 13th in Canada is always the biggest motorcycle rally, the motorcycle rally in Port Dover, Ontario. Literally the largest single-day motorcycle rally in the world. So there are clearly some Canadians who do not think Friday the 13th is dangerous or unlucky. But I am sure that there are often some kinds of accidents on that motorcycle rally. The Stress Management Center and Phobia Institute in Asheville, North Carolina, says that between 17 and 22 million people in the United States suffer from a fear of Friday the 13th. Does anybody here have that phobia? Do I? I guess nobody's owning up to it. If you do, then you suffer from Frigga, Triska, Deca phobia. I bet you didn't know that. So since no one here has that phobia, we will move fearlessly into the service dialogue. I'm going to begin with a brief review of the service plan and budget for 2016-17. You received it in your call to conference, and today you got a really, it's not, okay, we're having a tech, I'm going to keep going. So you had a very thorough review of AJLI finances over the next 5 years, and I'm going to do the very best I can not to repeat everything that Renee told you this morning. But I do want to make sure that we do go through the plan for next year and really give you some insight into what the line items really are all about. And again, I know you've read the plan, so I'm not going to take an enormously long time to do this. Well, welcome. It's Friday the 13th. It's not Friday the 13th, it's Groundhog Day. Okay, so what are the things that are most important in the service plan for this coming year? One Network, our database integration initiative to create a truly networked, connected organization, which is really imperative to our success in the future. Our in-person meetings and conferences, 7 a year. Our transformation rollout and its third phase. A really exciting capacity building pilot. Curriculum enhancement. Knowledge resource expansion. Fund development work, and brand enhancement. And so that's what our plan is really all about. We have a lot of work to continue to do on our database integration project. So we're expanding the leagues that are connected to One Network. In particular, smaller leagues have the opportunity to use Member Essentials, which is a system that we devised here at AJLI for leagues who can't afford to work with Digital Cheetah or Closerware or other larger vendors. And so we have that resource available to you. We're enhancing the functionality of the league directory, and I'll talk about that in a minute. We have a new member experience that we're building into our website because these days we're talking about software as a service. And so it really changes the construction and the experience on websites. We're launching our learning management system, which is very exciting. A new dues management system and a new member transfer system that are really part of the infrastructure that will make your league work more successful and easier. In terms of conferences, we have a very full agenda next year. Fall Leadership in Chicago, Winter Leadership in Tampa, the 217 annual conference in the Twin Cities, where we'll be celebrating the Junior League of St. Paul's 100th anniversary. Yay! 3 ODIs in Raleigh, San Antonio, and Pittsburgh, an EVP conference in New York, and we'll continue to support regional meetings as you ask us to. Continuing the transformation rollouts, and Ann Dalton is going to talk about that in more detail. Curriculum. Adding the LMS, the Learning Management System, to our learning portal is going to be critical. It will give you information about how your members are using the online learning, and it will give us information to continue to refine how we're working with it. So that's really great. We have a commitment to update building blocks for diversity and inclusion, which is our central repository for all things about diversity and inclusion. This is not just going to be a manual with a binder around it. We're building a set of truly interactive tools and resources that will be very easy for all of you to work with in your own diversity and inclusion efforts. And the workshop, there's one workshop at this conference based on some of the early work on this new and updated building blocks. And then we're going to continue to innovate in lots of different ways. In terms of fund development, we're going to conduct our 3rd annual appeal, and as we said this morning, it's continuing to grow, increasing support from sponsors like Colgate and Lincoln, and planning and implementing our next chapter in 2017. This is a really ambitious project that meets organizational needs in a number of different ways. For any of you who were at annual conference in Los Angeles, that was our very first next chapter. And what it is a separate day of great speakers and learning opportunities and networking opportunities for past AJLI governance leaders and for sustainers in leagues. Yesterday, there were 90 past governance leaders and sustainers from Georgia leagues and other leagues across the association who came together with special programming and then spent the afternoon with us at the opening and at the opening reception. So a really great program. It continues to build. There is so much demand and enthusiasm among the sustainer population. And this is a group that for years has been saying, we want to be involved and we want a reason to come to conferences. So it's going to be bigger and better in 2017. So this is our budget. And again, as Renee said, it's essentially a break-even budget this year, $33,000 net excess versus the $14,000 budgeted this year. A slight decline in revenue, a little bit greater decline, but still slight decline in expenses. This is our revenue broken down, and again, a lot of emphasis on our grants and contributions, a somewhat less aggressive look at investments, a little bit decline in dues billing, and a little bit more conservative look at boutique sales. The League Services budget is the heart of what we're doing as an organization, and again, down a little bit versus this year's budget because of some consolidations in positions and because of the work that we're doing to cost control our conferences. The marketing budget is up, primarily due to the work of the Brand Advisory Task Force, and we want to make sure that we have the funds to cover the first phase of their work. Fund development up a little bit due primarily to the greater Next Chapter program that we're planning for 2017 annual conference. The executive budget is our dues to other outside organizations, and it's essentially flat. The governance budget is the budget for the AJLI Board of Directors and the nominating committee. And again, our governing group has committed to a 2% annual decline in their expenses as part of our overall cost control and good stewardship of this organization. And the finance and administration budget is everything else. So this is where legal fees and our audit, our consultants, and a lot of day in and day out expenses are captured. That budget is down minimally as well, and that's due again to some position consolidations and some efficiencies across the organization. I know I've gone through these numbers quickly, but I really didn't want to spend a lot of time repeating exactly what Renee said this morning. This is our capital budget for next year, and you can see that it's larger than the budget that we had this year. So we're looking at about $252,000, and that's to really continue to build out the One Network initiative with more of the tools and resources that we need to make this truly the very best and easiest centralized database and repository and networking and connecting tool that we can possibly create for all of you. And that was really all I was going to say about the budget. I know there'll be time at the end for any more detailed questions, and I'm happy to answer any other questions. But we have some much more exciting stuff to talk about. Not that budgets aren't exciting and important, because they're both. So I'm going to turn things over to Lori Dodge.
Hi. At AJLI's 93rd Annual Conference in Los Angeles, Leagues passed the Brand Marketing Advisory Resolution, which asked the AJLI Board to explore how we can increase brand awareness in the Junior League, technically. The board entrusted this initiative to the AJLI staff and the Brand Advisory Task Force, some of whom are with us here today on the dais. And if I click, all of whom are on the slides behind me. It's been an absolute pleasure working with these women over the course of the past year. They're an extraordinarily bright, thoughtful, responsible, and capable group. Together, we've been determining both short and long-term strategies and tactics to strengthen the Junior League brand and ensure greater brand awareness of who we are and what we do. And with that, I will hand the mic over to Caitlin.
To ensure that we're all reading from the same page, let's start with a brief description of brand, what it is and what it isn't. There is one Junior League brand. It is our most valuable asset, encompassing everything we do and say. It is our unique value proposition to the world. It's an expectation of what our various audiences and constituents will get when they engage with us, regardless of geographic location, issue focus, and current leadership or current trends. Brand is not a marketing campaign. It is not an advertising campaign, and it is not a social media campaign, although each plays a significant role in broadcasting brand. With that as our foundation, we started by asking ourselves a series of questions. First, as a brand, what are our greatest opportunities? What are our greatest challenges? Do all 291 leagues and 150,000 members, our brand's most valuable ambassadors, think about the Junior League brand in the same way? Do we share common messaging? Do we share a common identity? If the answer is no, is that inhibiting greater brand awareness? Is the constant turnover in league leadership hurting us? What's our brand's image internationally, in the local community? Is it that same wherever we go? Is the current media landscape hurting or helping us? These questions and many others sparked robust conversations and helped guide our work over the course of the past year.
And so what have we been up to? In a word, tactically too, a lot. In April, we launched the new Junior League Brand Standards Microsite, a terrific resource that provides messaging, logo, and visual identity standards, as well as design elements to support your league's ongoing branding efforts and ensure that we're projecting a clear, consistent brand to our various constituents across the association, because there is only one Junior League brand. At Winter Leadership, we incorporated brand into the rights, roles, and responsibilities conversation so that league leaders, as owners of the association, clearly understand the importance of the Junior League brand and their responsibility in stewarding that brand in their local communities. We examined existing AJLI governing documents and determined that there are places where we can more clearly articulate the importance of brand with Junior League owners, and we will be incorporating the changes into certain governing documents, such as the rights, roles, and responsibilities. At the Houston ODI in June, we will launch a marketing and communications track to better address the needs of emerging league leaders operating in these roles. We are in the final stages of selecting a research firm that will help us determine the competitive landscape in which the Junior League operates, awareness and brand value of the Junior League among key constituents and the general public, and member awareness of AJLI and the Junior League, which is 150,000 women, 291 leagues in 4 countries. We will be ready to work in June, and if all goes according to plan, we should have research findings by the end of the calendar year.
All right. I'm not as tall as they are. Here we go. All right. Hi, everyone. So, informed by the research findings we talked about just a minute ago, we will determine the feasibility of a national branding campaign, which could take the form of a Junior League cooking app, the creation of a big urban game, or some other creative way to express our multifaceted brand, utilizing the current Junior League brand and visual identity. We also have been identifying different points in a member's league journey where targeted communications from AJLI could be of benefit. Recognizing where members are in their league journey provides an opportunity to have meaningful touch points where a direct link with or through AJLI would help enhance the member experience and support their ability to be natural brand ambassadors. We have been strategizing how to strengthen key league leadership roles critical to brand. For example, would it be helpful to have step-up positions for those working most closely with the brand? Would a marketing and communications track at all conferences be helpful? What about elevating the in-league communications position to what might be called a chief brand officer or a chief brand ambassador position? What if each league had an AJLI liaison? We are continually refining and strengthening AJLI's content strategy so that each singular effort is in alignment with the others. For example, we are using a $10,000 per month Google for Nonprofits grant. We're executing multiple Google AdWords campaigns, which since launching in September have resulted in over 1.5 million impressions and significantly increased traffic to key pages on AJLI's public website. We negotiated discounted pricing for individual leagues to contract with Native Rank to set up their own Google AdWords campaigns. We are refining our public relations strategy and content calendar, and we contracted with a new social media consultant to review and reinvigorate our strategy on each of our social platforms. Related, we are in the process of developing content that can be distributed to leagues to then share on your own social platforms.
And now we need your help exploring what we've been calling the landscape of possibilities. We're going to share a series of statements, and for each, we want you to let us know the degree to which you agree or disagree with each statement. Your responses will help guide the course of our future work and illuminate you and your league's complicity in the degree of success we have strengthening our brand and generating greater brand awareness of Junior League. Okay, here we go. If everyone could take out your cell phones and go to the conference app. If you navigate to the agenda in the main menu, you can tap on Service Dialog to view the session details page as outlined on the screen. You can then select Polls from the top of the page. Select the name of the poll. Select your answer choice and press Submit. Sounds easy. If you're having technical difficulties and are unable to access the app, you can text 54670 to 79905 and will be directed as to next steps. Standard messaging rates apply. If you have questions as we go through this exercise, please find a mic, which are scattered throughout the room, and just ask.
Are we ready?
We ask. Excuse me. Could we ask you to repeat the text number?
Oh, certainly. It is.
The text number will show up for each of the polls. That number
On the slide. Okay, the text number will show up on each poll or on the screen. So hold with us. How many of you are connected? Excellent, excellent. Okay, are we ready? Our first question. People in my community know who we are and what we do. Definitely a challenge. $215. I know there's more than $215 in this room. I'm going to wait for more votes. All right, we hear that. We know this feeling. How many do you think are in this room? How many do you think are here?
We think the questions are different in the iPad versus a cell phone. Is that
Oh, that is a challenge in and of itself.
okay?
Thank you. Did you hear that? It's Pamela in Boston. How many are on an iPad right now? Okay. I feel like we're so close to 300, and I would feel really good at 300. There we go. Come on. It's like a telethon. Just keep it going. We can get there. This was the moment when they told me I was doing this part that I was like, oh, good. Nothing could go wrong.
There's nobody better. There's nobody better.
I got it. It's fine. 285, so close. 15 more. Get me to 300.
We need you to stop shooting. We'll tap dance.
All right, here's the word on the street. Some of the questions or some of your devices are showing you the questions in a different order. You have all the questions. You might just have to scroll to the question that we have on the screen. So these questions are all available to everybody in the room, unless you have a Windows phone, as I used to. So close. Yeah. Okay, we're going to close this poll and move on. So close. Next one, we're going to get it. I know it.
Oh. 3 more. Come on, guys.
It's funny because our results are actually standing pretty firm.
Yep.
Okay. Next question we're going to go to. The Junior League, this is not what I have. Hold on. The Junior League has a positive image in our local community. All things considered. Now we've got it. Now we're cooking. We've got it now. Junior League it. Lovely, lovely to hear that. Yay! Nicely done. Look at that. All right. And our next question. We have a seat at the table in our local community.
Nope.
I think this is also a fair trend that we've heard and asked questions about, and very much in so of how can brand and identity help get us that seat or maintain a seat or get that seat back in the community. I know you're out there. I know you're out there, 310. All right, and our next question. The Junior League name accurately expresses who we are and what we do today. We have heard your stories about being compared to Little League or junior achievement in some areas. We do know this. And that doesn't mean we need to change the name. though we've heard that as well. It does mean that we need to let people know what that name stands for. I mean, the famous branding story is the gap. The gap doesn't mean anything until you explain the generation gap, and that's what the gap was built on. And then they built it into something totally different, which ebbs and flows, as we have to admit. All right, we're up to 3:20. That's really amazing. And we're going to move to the next question. Junior leagues need to be in alignment around the brand, including logo, visual identity, messaging, design, etc., to create greater brand awareness. Lots of agreement here. So close. All right, we hear you. You agree. And before I move to the next question, I'd like to share the following statistic with you, and at the same time remind you that brand is more than its visual identity and logo mark. Currently, 69 leagues, representing 45% of junior league membership, use visual identities that do not align with the junior league AJLI visual identity. And the next question is, inconsistent use of visual identity across the association impacts current awareness of the junior league brand. To what extent do you agree or disagree? Thank you. It is so nice to get some hard data behind anecdotal things that we've all heard and talked about, and to get some of these numbers is just really, I don't know, as a brander, I get really excited. Almost there. All right, we're going to move to the next question. It is AJLI's responsibility to generate greater brand awareness. And as you're voting, I'm going to tell you there are 3 questions in a row that relate to each other. Take each one on its own merit, please. Not surprising that there was a resolution to put this task force together, that you would think that AJLI had some responsibility in this. Okay. And we're going to move to the next question. Individual leagues are responsible for generating greater brand awareness. Equal responsibility. There's the rub. Popular question too, thank you. And the next question, oops, sorry, nope. That was me. Together, AJLI and the leagues share the responsibility, accountability for building a stronger brand and creating greater brand awareness. So we're in it together, we agree. All right, we're going to move to the next question. There are systemic issues, including rotating leadership at the league level, that present a challenge to our ability to create greater brand awareness. Good or bad? All right. Thank you for your replies. We're going to move on to the next question. The current media landscape, which is self-promotional and fragmented, where voices of authority are outmarched by provocation, few people have clout, but all have a voice, presents a challenge for our brand and creating greater brand awareness. Wow. We're seeing it both ways on this one. Very nice. It's a little bit of that challenge equals opportunity, isn't it, ladies? I know, I can see some thinking on that. All right, and we'll move on to the next question. Oh, actually, we're done with questions. Wasn't that fun? Some little interactivity to wake you up in the afternoon. Are there any questions or comments based on what we just went through and some of the questions that we asked you? Please find a microphone and we'd love to hear from you. There's one right there. All right.
Amanda Richardson, Junior League of Little Rock. Just a mechanical question I want to get out of the way. Is that tool exclusive to the Double Dutch app? Because it was a really cool way to engage. And what the expense is if we wanted to do it within our own league.
I know there are league members out here that use live polling in their GMs. Does anybody do that? Does anyone know what it's called? I can't hear it. Poll everywhere.
Yeah, poll everywhere, and there's
Poll
also
everywhere.
Padlet.
Or just Google live polling apps, that kind of thing. I know they do exist.
Also, smmpoll.net.
smmpoll.net.
Hi, this is Beth Daly from the Columbus, Ohio League. You said something about a large number of us that are not in a line with the brand. Do you get in touch with us and let us know? Because a lot of us probably, it's always been that way.
Yeah, I think that statistic is based on visual identity. Correct, Lori? Yeah. It's the visual identity, so whether you use the red and black colors in the JL, or if you have a different logo, different colors.
But if you come across as that, someone send us a note. Thank you.
Yes, they do get contact.
Okay. Other questions or comments?
I want to thank you for taking this task on to do this poll in this setting. The first time, this was a lot, and congratulations to you for making it look easy, or not so easy. I don't know. Was it easy?
It was a breeze. We love doing this. We love putting this together and being up here with you all. Any other concerns about what we're doing with brand before we close this up? All right. Well, sorry? Okay, good. I'm glad you guys all liked it. I wish I could take the full credit for thinking of it, but I did not, alas. But thank you so much. And Susan, I'm going to leave it with you.
The pages there. Okay. Now which way do I go forward? Okay. As you might imagine, creating greater brand awareness for the Junior League is no easy feat, particularly in today's self-promotional and fragmented marketplace.
The Junior League has traditionally shunned self-promotion, has been plagued by strong misconceptions and negative stereotypes, despite the exceptional legacy as an organization comprised of 291 independent organizations, some with different visual identities, that tackle a range of issues, and one that is led by revolving leadership teams. Achieving our ultimate goal is not as simple as creating an advertising or social media campaign. It takes a lot of hard work and thoughtful conversation, contemplation, conflict, and consideration. And it's a substantial human and financial resource commitment, and we want to do it right. So along the way, we need to manage our expectations about what we will be able to accomplish and the time it will take for us to get there. But we're a determined bunch. We are junior leaguers, right? With an extraordinary 114-year legacy, generations have come before us, and generations will follow us. And so, the work of the task force will continue, and we will keep you apprised of our progress. But true and lasting success will be found in our shared accountability and responsibility for the brand.
And I'd like to thank these members of the task force, which I didn't introduce them before, so I will do so now. Caitlin, Junior League of Seattle. Darlene, Junior League of Daytona Beach. Katie, Junior League of Portland, Maine. Hermione, Junior League of Cleveland. Candace, Junior League of Seattle. And Susan, Junior League of Halifax. So thank them. Thank you. And I have one more thing to report on this afternoon, which is actually very, very exciting, and it's about money. When it comes to style, there should be no boundaries. At every age, shape, and budget, you should feel glamorous. And so earlier this spring, and to complement clothing and accessory offerings from W by Worth, Rent the Runway, and The Real Real, we partnered with Gwynnie Bee, the clothing rental service offering options for every age, shape, budget, and occasion, with more than 4,000 styles and brands from which to choose. Junior League members were invited to participate in a 30-day free trial, and for each trial sign-up, AJLI received $35, with an additional $15 if a Junior League member became a Gwynnie Bee member. That's not bad. Gwynnie Bee, a relatively young startup strong on promoting positive body image, could build their customer base while simultaneously supporting the work of a formidable 100-plus-year-old not-for-profit. But they wanted more. They wanted more customers, and they wanted more impact. So they made us an offer we couldn't refuse on your behalf, an unprecedented opportunity for you to expand your wardrobe, support AJLI, and support your league. Here to tell you a little more about it is Gwynnie Bee's head of marketing, Jen Ogden-Reese.
Lori, thank you so much for introducing me. And I have to say, I'm just absolutely blown away by being here today in front of all of you, amazing women, oriented towards service. The tradition of this organization is pretty unbelievable. And I have to say, I'm a little bit humbled to be here on behalf of a 4-year-old startup talking about a partnership with a 100-plus-year-old organization like you all belong to. So I'm also very happy to see the stylish nature of the crowd, which is very cool. And then after this most recent exercise, also a very tech-savvy crowd. So the alignment continues. So I'm here on behalf of Gwynnie Bee. Our own brand mission is all about delivering women a world of style possibility and confidence every day. So yes, we are a business, but we do have a little sliver of what you all are going after in terms of delivering that confidence piece. And for us, that means giving women a new way to experience apparel and clothing that is a subscription rental service. So it is a way for you to be able to access thousands of styles, try them, buy them, return them, all at a very affordable price. And we're all about helping women step out of their home every day feeling good and looking good. We were founded, and our current CEO, my boss, is Christine Hunsaker, and she is all about delivering on that message of empowering women of all shapes and sizes, to look good and feel good. And that's one of the reasons that she launched the company 4 years ago. So we, and I am not a junior leaguer, but I'm very happy to say that we have a number of folks on our staff, including Ann Westphaling right here, who is New York Junior League leadership member, and a number of other members of the Junior League who are on our staff. So we've really have learned a lot about the organization through our own team, which has made it an even more compelling partnership potential for us. So here today, we're talking outside and explaining the service, but we wanted to align with you all to both help us reach a new audience of style-minded consumers, and also help you, your individual local leagues, with your efforts around your community projects. So the challenge right now is through the end of June, if you can get your league to generate 30 free trials, sign up for our service for 30 days, 30 trials, your league will get $2,000 for a community service project of your choosing. So it's a really great way for us to give back, and also bring our product and service to a new community in a very low-risk way. So you get to sign up, try it out, no commitment, and we're hoping to really generate some fun and excitement around the brand, and also help you all with your efforts to reach out and support the community. It's something that we very much believe in. The mission around women and children, very much aligned with Gwenny B's mission, particularly driving that confidence among women and making them feel good, making them feel confident in stepping out the door every day. So that's the program. We are here to answer questions outside, and we're just thrilled to be here chatting with you all today. So thank you.
That, by the way, I didn't do the math recently, but that's hundreds of thousands of dollars if you all participate. Not to your league specifically, but for the organization as a whole. It's an amazing, amazing offer, and we thank you guys very much. At this point in time, the signing up 30 members for $2,000 is available to United States leagues only. But the next opportunity that I want to tell you about with Gwenny B extends to all 291 leagues. And that is, they will provide funding to leagues working broadly in the space of positive body image through a $25,000 grant program that will launch in September and coincide with our awards program. So keep an eye out for that. Applications will be due in December, and the grants will be announced next year at annual conference in the Twin Cities. So keep an eye out. Get your 30 members for your $2,000, and thank you, Gwenny B.
Thank you, Jen and Gwenny B. And thank you so much, Caitlin and Darlene and Katie and Hermione and Candace and Susan. Great job. And thank you to all of you. I'm going to talk just really briefly about the Junior League profile data, because boy, oh boy, did you submit your information, and that is so exciting, because this is one of the most important things that we're doing on our database integration project. And what it means is so much information for you to connect, to network, and to share, and for us to be smarter about the services, the programs, and the curriculum that we provide to you. So I'm going to just briefly share some of the information from the profile, There is so much more to it, and I'm giving you just some real top-line kinds of stuff. This is what the profile will look like when it's fully launched, and let me tell you that it's not completely operational yet. We have your information. There is some technology work going on right now, and you will get an email within the next month that will tell you when all of this is live and interactive, and you're going to be able to do all kinds of cool things with it. You'll be able to measure yourself versus other leagues. You'll be able to access other leagues that are doing the same things or different things. It's going to just be a whole world of interconnectedness. We asked you questions about 6 different areas, and so I'm going to just hit a couple of questions from each area. In terms of governance, you know, we're working a lot on separating governance and management. How many leagues are currently separated? Our data tells us that 29% of leagues have separated their governance and management, but we're very happy with that number because we know a whole bunch of leagues are about to make the switch. And whether you're doing the separate governance or management, it's up to you and your league. And if you're still with a council system or a different kind of board, that's okay too. And we promise that there will be services and curriculum and everything else still for all the rest of you. But there's great momentum around the separate governance and management effort. The junior league profile. What brand policies does your league have, and how many leagues have them? And we look at this list as kind of a best practices kind of list. So how many leagues have a diversity and inclusion plan that the board oversees? 26%. How many have a whistleblower policy? 39%, and so forth. 80% of leagues review their forms 990. And so when you look at this list of things, these really are best practices, and we have a lot of templates on the AJLI website that can help you adopt some of these things very, very easily. In terms of membership, this was really interesting, the whole topic of how you better engage sustainers, because we know that leagues are losing sustainers, although active membership is growing. So some people wrote us very candidly, this is one area we need to work in. And we only engage members for the new member socials, the sustainers, or we ask the sustainers to host events. Other things, not many leagues really use those leagues to the sustainers to introduce them to community stakeholders. Most leagues do not allow sustainers to run for office. They get invited to GMMs, and some get to participate in community programs, and some get invited to events other than GMMs, like the Sustainer Teas and other things like that. So when you look at this host of activities, you have to ask yourself, is this really robust enough to really support a strong and engaged sustainer membership? And what else can we be doing? Another great question, does your league have a formal mentoring program? It was very exciting to see that 26% of leagues said, yes, we do. And another 17% said, no, we don't have it right now, but we're working on it. So that's going to be pretty much 50-50 by the time we're finished in this next year. And so that's very exciting. The whole concept of mentoring was a very important thing in all the work that we did, that so many junior league members want mentors and want to be mentors. And so we've had a mentoring toolkit online for a couple of years now that can really help you put that kind of program into place if that's something you're interested in. In terms of community impact, what percentage of your members are involved in the community efforts? And is your league's community work clearly guided by clearly articulated and measurable impacts? The good news is that more are than aren't, but still 44% don't really feel you've got that nailed. In terms of fund development plan, this was really good news. Does your league have a fund development plan? And you can see the very high number. But what this profile is going to enable you to do is dig deeper and say, well, who has a fund development plan? Who can I reach out to? And it's also going to give us at AJLI an opportunity to reach out to leagues who have some of these tools already, and to make sure that when you go into our resource center, you have the very best examples of work that leagues are doing already. because no one should need to reinvent the wheel. So what do these plans look like? And it's the same for so many of the things throughout the profile. How many leagues have received grants over the past 3 years? And here again, we have 10% of leagues that are really grant-getting machines, have received more than 10 grants. So I don't know about you, but I want to know who they are. And I want to know how they're doing it and what they want to do. And it sounds like members of these 10 leagues would be great for a workshop at an upcoming conference, right? Because we want to know what they're doing. In terms of league operations, which business functions do you outsource? And so we have great resources like Jatasa that outsources bookkeeping services. They're right out in the exhibit area. And so these are some of the things that you outsource. And again, if you're thinking about it, this provides you an easy way to talk to a league that's already doing that. And what software does your league use for fund development? So this kind of crosses two areas. And so a lot of people, well, only 7% of leagues don't use any. That might be concerning, but maybe there's something on paper or something that you use instead. I hope not. But a lot of leagues use Digital Cheetah, Closerware, QuickBooks, Microsoft Excel, and then you use a whole wide range of other fundraising tools in the various kinds of events that you have, whether it's PayPal or GoFundMe or Eventbrite or any of those other sources. And again, you can find out exactly which leagues are using these different sources and talk to them about how they work for them. In terms of training and development, is your league's training open to non-members? Which is a very interesting concept. And so 39% of leagues said yes, there is training, some training. 58% said no, and 3% said their league does not offer training. Juan Che will be in contact with you. But I think it's very interesting, and so again, we can dig deeper in the data and find out what kinds of training is available to outside people. And so again, it gives you another layer of things to look through and see what other people are actually doing. Does your league have any materials, any training-related materials that would be helpful to other leagues? And again, Juwan is going to be after the 19% of you that said, yes, indeed you do. Because we know from all of the work that we do that the thing you really want most are great examples that are real life that you can easily work with. The next thing that we're going to be asking you for is the next phase of the profile directory, and that is detailed information about your programs, your community impact programs and projects. So stay tuned for the request to begin to submit that data, and that will enable you to know a lot more about who else is working on human trafficking, who else is working on childhood obesity, who else is working with senior citizens, and all of the various kinds of programs and issue areas that you work in. And so it's going to be important for you to rally one more time and input just a bit more data, well, actually probably a lot of data. And those of you who were at the Digital Cheetah pre-session the other day expressed great enthusiasm for this. In fact, some of you said, you're going to go back 50 years and put in all of your program information because there's no place else across the association that we can capture and that you can capture all of the work that your league has done. So we applaud that energy and enthusiasm. Junior League of the City of New York, you can put in 115 years. And so I'm going to turn things over for our last report out to Ann Dalton to talk about the transformation.
Thank you, Susan. Okay, so Transformation Rollout 3.0. And first, want to just quickly remind you when we use the term transformation, what we are talking about is the work that we've been doing with you and largely developed by you to look at league systems in membership, governance, and community impact, with the purpose of ensuring that junior leagues continue to be competitive and able to meet our mission, both in today's world and for today's and tomorrow's women. Remembering that at the end of the day, junior leagues are positioned to better engage in their communities as a network of women empowered as leaders creating community change. We did this work because leagues reported a variety of challenges to us: inflexibility, outputs instead of outcomes, burnout, didn't feel that you were at the table, difficult to connect member to member, and the feeling that the league was a very top-down and hierarchical organization. What the transformation moves to is a league that has much greater focus on a strategic future, that is really about community change, that is both efficient and effective, has deep leadership pipelines, powerful connections member to member, oops, I gotta see over here, voice and choice for the membership to really engage in the league, and the Junior League is really a powerful community partner. So here we go, 3.0. There are currently 43% of leagues are involved in at least one of the 3 rollout operations. As you can see, 17% are both in governance and in community impact. The membership rollout was the last to begin, and so it has just had its first phase. 4% of leagues have participated in that, and there are 5% of leagues that are beginning to do both of them, since they do all interconnect in lots of important ways. So what's coming next year? Community Impact 3.0 will start in July of 2016. Governance 3.0 will also start in July of 2016, and the second membership cohort will launch in September 2016. So how do you sign up? To sign up, we need you to email Marie Coupé, and we will send an all-league email out next week that actually gives you this information as well. The deadline to sign up is June the 13th. And if you have questions about the content and how each of the 3 rollouts operate, you want to get to me on the governance one, you want to come to Janine Lesueur on community impact, and you want to talk with Juwan Shea on the membership rollout. So 3.0, here we come.
Okay. Go Ann. Yes. And so we're finished talking. We'd love to open the floor to any of you who have questions about anything that we shared today or things that we haven't talked about. We've tried to provide you with a broad range of initiatives that we're doing to just give you a flavor for all of the things that are going on in headquarters and all of our enthusiasm about the work that we're doing, again, to add value to your fulfillment in the Junior League mission. So, any questions? And please let us know your name and the league that you're from.
Thank you. Kara Sporner, Junior League of Duluth. Has there been any discussion, actually just coming from a really great diversity and inclusion segment, on hosting ODI in North Carolina in October?
We understand that there are leagues that would like to talk about that, and so we'd like to hear from you.
Sorry, I'm a little taller. Shauna from Junior League of San Joaquin County, California. And I'm just curious about the event app, if that will continue on, or if there's going to be an app where we can all connect in that way with pictures and, you know, celebrating our successes. Is that going to be something that's built in?
Laurie? Is there going to be Is the app going to be just episodic as it currently is for events, for conferences, or is it going to be ongoing? Dave Burkita.
Hi. This event will be available in the app until fall leadership, and we are talking about doing a Junior League app.
Sounds like Dave is losing his voice. And by the way, I don't want to ignore the question earlier about North Carolina. I think most of us know that North Carolina has passed legislation that limits bathroom accessibility for transgender people to having to use the facility that is tied to their born sex. I'm sorry? On their birth certificate. So that is legislation that was passed. I think the question for all of you is, to what level does that rise in terms of conflict with our shared values? And it's hard to predict whether that law is going to stay enforced or not. There's lots of activity around that area. But I would really, I think all of us would very much welcome hearing what any of you have to say about going to Raleigh, which is a great place to hold an ODI, that is in North Carolina, that does have this law on the books right now. So I just want to put that out there. And I welcome any comments that any of you have, whether in this venue or otherwise. And I know the board does too.
Hi, wow, that's loud, sorry guys. My name is Janie Nadolski. I'm the incoming president of the Junior League of Ogden. And I'm really glad that this was brought up because I think this is a very serious issue. Junior leagues have long been advocates of civil rights. And I think that we need to make a statement. And I do not believe that the Junior League of Ogden will be sending anyone to Raleigh because of this. And AJLI, you know, there's a lot of businesses that are making statements because of North Carolina, and their money does the talking for them. Now, I know that this is an issue that, you know, this is years in planning, but I don't know how we can say this is a value after what we went through last year with our reaching out statement or diversity inclusion statement, and then hold this conference there and attend. That's just my personal opinion.
So let's make sure that this really is a discussion and that we hear many sides of it, as many sides as there are, and let's have a conversation.
Susie Berg from the Junior League of San Francisco. I think this is a very complicated issue, and I'd also like to remind that there are many leagues here from North Carolina who are doing immense and excellent and impactful work in their state. And I am from San Francisco. This mic is really weird. And I'm the incoming president, and I have debated about the issue as to whether we send delegates. But given that AJLI negotiated this contract over 18 months ago and didn't know what the political state was going to be like then, I want to support our North Carolina leagues and the work they're doing for our mission.
Hi, I'm Callaway McKay from I'm from the Salt Lake City League, and I'm originally from Raleigh, North Carolina. And I just think that what you said was great. Like, we need to support the ladies that are changing the laws and making a difference in all of our states. And I think a presence in a state that's going through that and supporting them trying to make a difference for the better is always a good thing. I think a lot of times when like these concerts are pulling out and all this stuff, the people that are getting hurt are the businesses and the hotels and the conference centers and the people wanting to attend these things rather than the government officials that are actually making the laws. And I think it's often good to just keep that in mind, that it's not all of the community is in support of that, and yet that's who gets hurt as well.
Thank you. Yes.
I'm Mary Ann from Junior League of Olympia, and I agree with the last two people who talked because I think it would be great to be advocates. Like the person said before, we were built on civil rights and fighting for people who didn't have a voice. So at ODI, why can't we add the advocacy part and have that inclusion?
Thank you. Yes, over at this mic. I don't have numbers, so I can't say microphone number 6.
Thank you.
Yes.
My name is Christina from the Junior League of Northwest Arkansas, and I would just really like to bring up the point that we should all educate ourselves on what the law actually states before we make a decision as an organization. It's my understanding, which I could be incorrect, but the law states that it gives the businesses the right to choose what they will follow. So as an organization, maybe we take a look at where we're holding our event and whether or not that's the right location before we just say we're not going to North Carolina. I just wanted to bring that up.
Thank you. Other comments? Yes, in the middle.
Jennifer Sork, incoming president for Topeka, Kansas. And I am from Kansas, and we get enough of our government heckling there. And I would echo pretty much everything that everyone has said previously. And yes, these microphones are very odd. But I think the education and empowerment of women and taking those training opportunities to North Carolina and maybe bringing some of our leadership to the forefront and making this ODI the biggest and largest ODI in order to spread the word of inclusion and diversity that we have made at AJLI and in our individual leagues.
Thank you. On the left, I guess it looks like right to you.
Hi, my name is Amy Roberts. I'm with the Junior League of Columbus, and I just wanted to let everyone know that there was supposed to be a national conference held there in August for NOVA, which is the National Organization for Victim Assistance, which many of the Attorney General's offices and other state agencies support funding and programs for LGBTQI programs. And since this directly impacts direct service, they decided to pool their conference. And they did work with the hotel. I don't know the logistics, but they moved it actually to Atlanta for a week earlier. So I would encourage AJLI to, one, do their research as other people have done, but then also don't be afraid to take a stand in a different way.
I'm sorry? Okay. Hi, Tony.
Hi, thank you. I'm Tony Freeman. I'm past president of the association, and I'm also from the Junior League of Charlotte. This mic is really weird.
I'm sorry.
This is just for a point of information. Of course, being from Charlotte, you can imagine we're very engaged in this dialogue, and I'm very proud to hear our members having this discussion. However, I also think it's important to know that Charlotte, along with Raleigh and 12 other cities, had already locally approved the right and privileges for all of us citizens to be treated equally. However, the state overrode those city ordinances. So you should know that Raleigh is one of the cities that shares our values.
Thank you, Tony. Other comments, other points of view? On the right, left.
Hi, I'm Jenny from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. We just did some really fun polls. Why can't we all do a poll on this?
I don't know if we have the technology set up to do that. Can we do this? You know what? We don't need to use the technology to do it. I'm sorry? Okay. You know, in the interest of time, let's go back to the prehistoric way to get a view on things. In association dialogue, there is such a thing as a straw poll. It is not binding. It just allows everyone in the room to get a sense of where the room is. Would that be okay with you if we did it the old-fashioned way? Because we don't have this question set up and everything, and it would take some time to do that. Are you okay with, and would you like to do a straw poll? Are there, and I'm going to follow the process from the association dialogue, are there people who are not in favor of doing a straw poll? I see one hand. You're
Sorry.
coming to the mic.
I'm coming to the very weird microphone. Amanda from Cobb, Marietta, in Georgia. Can this not be put before the delegates that actually vote for our leagues tomorrow, instead of doing a straw poll when we haven't done the proper research on the issue? I mean, there's obviously lots of sides of it, and right now we've got people who have meetings and whatnot, and they're not down here, and I don't think it's appropriate to go forward with something without the voting members present.
Okay. The answer to your question, which is a very logical one, is no. Everything at the annual meeting, which is the official business meeting of the association, has to be noticed. So it would have had to have been in the official notice of the meeting. Now, you could still propose an advisory resolution and continue the conversation tomorrow. And so anybody interested in doing that could, again, propose an advisory resolution. I believe you have until 6:30 tonight in the governance office to do so, yes? Okay, so we haven't really followed official parliamentary procedure. Is Dr. Beerbaum here? Or, oh, okay, we have somebody on the mic over here. We're gonna talk a few more minutes. This session is actually running out of time, so let's take these last comments. Let's leave it to those who would like to talk about this further to put forward an advisory resolution, and therefore there can be some conversation about it tomorrow, okay? But let's have these last two comments.
Karen from Monmouth County, New Jersey, and I just would not feel comfortable even conducting a straw ballot because this is a personal issue and we haven't had an opportunity to discuss this specific issue with our members who we are representing here with our vote.
Thank you. And our last comment over here.
Melinda Scott from Junior League of Fresno, and I want to move us in a little bit of a different direction for this, that we may not be able to solve this issue. The association contracted with them so many months ago. We want to support and cheer on our North Carolina leagues. But going forward, this is probably not the last time something like this is going to happen. And I think we need to develop either contract measures that protect us and give us options, or official statement, or something along those lines that gives us the opportunity. I know it's hard to imagine that we might have more divisive issues come up in the future, but just in case it does, I think that that's something we need to do moving forward.
Thank you. At the end of the annual meeting tomorrow, Carol Scott, our incoming president, is actually going to be facilitating a conversation with you about shared values. And this is certainly one of those topics that really ties back to what are our values that we hold together and how do we articulate them. So I think with the combination of Carol's conversation tomorrow and certainly with leagues interested in an advisory resolution, I think that we will have an opportunity to do exactly the kind of thing that was just talked about, to really figure out where our values and where we draw the line on certain things or not. So with that, I'm going to call this session to a close because you do have other meetings to go to, and enjoy your free evening. Thank you. Evening. Thank you. Evening. Thank you. Evening. Thank you. Evening.